Good evening, everybody. It's once again Ted the Speed Learner, and I am here to talk to you tonight about a company that doesn't exist anymore. There was a company once called Macromedia, and they created something called Shockwave Flash. Okay, so anytime you're looking through file extensions, and do you remember me talking to you about file extensions in previous videos? Okay, if you see the one that says FLV, that is Flash Video, and Macromedia created this. But the thing is that Macromedia was then bought out by Adobe, and so it's now Adobe Flash instead of Macromedia Flash. Okay. Now, this would not be a problem except that the latest version of Flash, Flash 11, can disrupt old video drivers. So if you have an older computer, you have an older graphics card, this Flash can disrupt the video drivers. And this is a problem I ran myself into. Now the thing was, I thought I had a virus at first. And so what I did was I took out my old hard drives, put in a new terabyte hard drive. I had a 360 gig hard drive originally. And I took it out and put a full terabyte drive in there and took all my data files from my old drive to put it up to the new one. Well, when the video driver problem did not disappear and I was continually having problems watching my videos, the screen would freeze up, the whole 9 yards, I knew then that I had a graphics card problem. My graphics card was old and a piece of junk. And this kind of happens because when you go out and you buy a name brand computer like Hewlett Packard or whatever, they tend to give you substandard parts on certain things. The motherboards seem to be okay, but when you're talking about the graphics cards, whatever, they just kind of give you substandard to cheapen the price. Well, that can lead you to a lot of problems, especially if people upgrade. Now, see, my computer was used to running Windows Vista. Now it's running Windows 7. Remember, I had a retail copy of Windows 7, so that's what I installed originally. Alright, so we run into the problem. Boom, we need a new graphics card. Now, wait a minute. Before you install a new graphics card, you've got to know one thing. What's your power supply? In my case, I had a 300 watt power supply on my computer. Here's the problem. This thing did not take up very much power. This is an actual graphics card right here. You can see this is an actual graphics card. This is a PCI Express card. If you'll take a look down here at the bottom at how uniquely it formed it is right down here. This is a PCI Express. This will not fit a regular PCI slot. Okay. In the old days, they used to have PCI components. I explained that in a previous video. Now they have PCI Express for your graphics cards. This thing was just old. It's antiquated. It's obsolete now. So there you go. But in order to replace the graphics card, I had to get another card, and the card takes up 300 watts of power. Here's the problem. I had a power supply on my computer that was also 300 watts of power. So this thing would have sucked all the power from the computer, so the motherboard wouldn't have run, none of the other cards in it would run, so on and so forth. This, the graphics card I was going to put in there was going to be a resource hog. Simple as that. If you go to Best Buy, they're really nice about replacing power supplies, which is great. However, if they try to talk you into getting a 425 watt power supply, tell them no. The reason for this is that if you're going to upgrade anything else on the computer, you'll have enough for your graphics card, but you won't have enough for any other upgrades. That's wrong. I get it up with a 520 watt power supply this time, and that should be more than sufficient for my needs. So, anyway, I went from a 300 watt power supply to a 520, so I have more than enough power left over to upgrade whatever I need. But anyway, whenever you're replacing a graphics card, make sure that your power supply is adequate, because if it isn't, you're going to have a computer crash right off the bat. And you could burn out the power supply you just got. You could also burn out your motherboard. Also make sure that your motherboard supports the right kind of PCI Express. Mine does. Thank heavens. Some boards don't. Watch that. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to show you this again. This is a graphics card right here. This is the PCI Express slot right across here. Okay. Make sure that your board can support PCI Express before buying a PCI Express board. If it can't, you're going to be screwed, because PCI slots are formed differently than PCI Express. Watch that. And like I said, if you own an older computer and you're having video driver problems, it's probably because of Flash 11, and you will have to upgrade. So hopefully that'll help you out. If you have video driver problems, the first thing I do is switch out the hard drive. If that doesn't work, then I would go ahead and switch out the graphics card, because you'll literally have no choice. I tried to baby mine along for a while. That didn't work. Anyway, hopefully you understood everything I told you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.